don't know me, but I'm your brother. I will raise it in this living time. You don't know my kind in your world. Fairly soon, the time will tell. You telling me things you're gonna do for me. Yeah, no, I'm in line. Don't like what I think I see. Taking that, taking my brother, taking my sister, taking a message to my brother. You will find him everywhere, wherever people live together. Time to Father Jesus back. Oh, you telling me things you're gonna do for me. But I ain't blind and I don't like what I think I see. We can make it better, better for our children. Yeah. Do for me. God, I'm in blind and I don't like what I think I see. Taking it, God, taking my brother, taking my sister. God, now. Yes. You know the man said, he said, I may not get there with you, but we got to keep on walking. That's the flame of freedom. We're about to ride any minute. Taking it. Thank you so much.
Yes. Taking it to the streets. Which feels like what we are going to have to do, as tired as we are about being in the streets. We may have to get back out there. It may be a requirement of us to take it to the streets. And every time I hear this version of it, as performed by the great Michael McDonald, whose voice was probably one of the most influential and present voices in music in the, I want to say the 70s, 80s, and the 90s, and well into the 2000s. You knew when Mike was on the scene because his voice was that soulful, distinctive thing. And the way he plays, there's no way in hell anybody can tell me that this man did not attend a Pentecostal church or had his ear to listening to black music, in case you didn't know, because we are the music, the way he plays with so much soul and beauty. Every time I hear this version where he is visiting his alma mater, Berkeley School of Music, I just get tears in my eyes. I get chills. It's like the Holy Spirit truly gets ushered in. It's a beautiful rendition of Taking It to the Streets. But of course, we have to move on now. So, and the church doors would not be open if we didn't have at least one rant from the pissed off bartender. I really dig this guy. He's been going live from time to time too, but I like him because he's able to get a point across in a few minutes, succinctly, clearly, and understandably. So, yeah, we're still pissed off. So let's let him do a little rant for us.
That is not going to have to spend the next 4 years moving a motherfucking goalpost so you don't have to admit you got by a grifter. Save-A-Lot Stalin sold you some bitches on a dream that wasn't worth the shit ticket he scribbled it on, and now all y'all are standing around looking stupid. Time and time again, we told y'all what the Tangerine Tyrant's tariffs would lead to, but y'all only listen when that fork-tongued motherfucker is talking. Y'all wanted to play the fuck around game so goddamn badly. Well, you are fixing to find out very bigly. For fuck's sake, even our maple-flavored friends are preparing to send the Fanta fascists a power shortage-shaped fuck you. Do you know what happens when you get America's top hat heated? The last time them motherfuckers took out some aggression, they had to write the Geneva Conventions. Don't believe me? Do a quick Google search on our north of the border buddies and see how they conducted battle during World War I. Anyways, y'all have you a wonderful motherfucking day. Get them Sunday scaries out of your system and get ready to stomp a mud hole in your Monday and walk that week dry. Keep them motherfucking boots out of your motherfucking mouth. And remember that the golden rule will always remain yeehaw fuck the law. And I will see y'all down the line.
Oh, yeah. So we went from he is actually since I have used my allotment of fucks, or at least many of them, I'll let him come on and do the motherfucking, you know what I mean? Yes, I am late. I haven't been feeling well. This last week, I just was running a fever. My energy was really, really low. I just simply wasn't feeling well. And this Wednesday was better, but not, still kind of low energy. I had I've been working on my CD, and I was in the studio on Monday, and I wasn't able to carry the tunes. I was having vocal issues, laryngitis. So it's been a pretty interesting week, but I'm here on a Friday night, which I know Fridays and Saturday nights are usually very busy. There are those of you who want to go over and listen to readers, which I also enjoy. I don't know who's on live tonight, but I'm sure that there are many very interesting YouTube upload. Well, what am I trying to say? Shit. The content creators, yeah, that is, that are doing things on a Friday night. I was actually going to go out and to hear a friend of mine perform. However, that would require that I actually get dressed and put the face on and all of that. And for some reason, I simply have not had that kind of desire, even though I do it. But tonight, it just felt as if it would be a good night for me to stay in and experience a little peace, a little quiet, sit with the Holy Spirit, sit with my angels and my guides and my ancestors in the silence, and be open and available to hear any messages they might have for me. So, yeah, we have so much to talk about. We have the state of DisUnion. We have all the fuck shit that this man does just because he can, because everybody around him is, giving him virtual blowjobs, on his mushroom to keep him happy and uplifted, because I think he knows that he's a stupid motherfucker. I think he knows that we see how idiotic and psychotic he is. I think he knows this about himself, but it makes him feel better when he can project and make everybody else around him be the ones that are dumb or be the ones that are stupid. That's all he does is point fingers. He's too much of a coward to accept the reality of who he is and how he fucked us before when he was in office, and how he is preparing to do it real good. He's going in dry this time to do it again. And y'all that voted for him, I don't give a damn. The Koonarians and whomever and everybody who just couldn't bring themselves to vote for a woman. They couldn't bring themselves to vote for a Democrat. They couldn't bring themselves to vote for a black woman. They couldn't bring themselves. So now you're out here whining, talking about what you didn't vote for, but I'm here to let you know you voted for all of it. And for many of you, you thought as long as black folks and brown people, black folks were going to suffer and brown people were going to be deported. For many of you, you thought that was going to be you were really down with that. You thought, oh no, he cares about me. He cares about me and my hungry ass kids. He cares about me and me needing some serious dental work. There's a lot of y'all out there praise dancing for him, have mouths that look like a fucking fireplace with the ashes swept out. A lot of y'all that are down there are meth addicts or whatever, but y'all were all the way down because you thought that it was never going to touch you. And now you're out here whining because you done fucked around and found out that he didn't give a damn about you. You were just a vote. And I understand for my people that we're not all a monolith. We are known for having disagreements, a lot of them petty. We're known for whining about how we can't come together, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we're known for that. But for you all to go out and vote for this man after you bought the lie that Project 2025 isn't real, Agenda 47 isn't real, I don't know anything about that. And then he'll turn around and say, I know, but I don't agree. I know that some of this stuff is pretty radical and I don't agree with it. Well, if you didn't know anything about it, how the hell you gonna know what is radical and what you disagree with? He doesn't disagree with the damn thing. The whole project is about erasing the presence and the brilliance and the beauty of blackness in these United States of America. So you want to ban books that tell the truth about the ugliness of slavery in this country, the brutality and the heinous crimes committed against black men and women. You don't want to look in the mirror and see yourself as the Neanderthal, the bloodlust, the bloodthirsty motherfuckers that you are. Now, that's not all. But right now, this administration is filled with those people. So we're being run by a convicted felon whose brain has become liquefied because of all of the drug use that he did in the past and that he's still doing. We have alcoholics, baby, come and, they have to do maintenance drinking when they're out, standing before the public or going on television to tell their lies, mostly the Fox, quote, news, end quote. They go on and they can lie because they know that nobody's going to ask them any relevant or any hardball questions. They're spinning their heads around like Linda Blair in the fucking Exorcist to try and spitting up pea soup to try to explain or to soften the fuck shit that they see is going on. They're still out there trying to steer the boat, trying to explain, trying to make it right. We got liars. We got P-files. We have the unqualified and the incompetent, so that DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, is being replaced by our white, entitled, and incompetent of a group of people, whining ass white men who wanted to say that, oh, we got all the jobs because we were Black, and then dare try to say that Black people have gotten jobs and that they're unqualified. That's a damn lie. A Black person has never been able to be unqualified for a goddamn thing they've done in this nation, ever. If anything, we've been overqualified. If anything, we've raised the bar. It's pretty magnificent that we came from across the passage to come to a country we knew nothing about, and then seemingly assimilated, learn your language, learn your ways, etc., etc., took advantage of your education, baby, and now we are rocking and rolling, and you cannot deal with that because it neuters you. You don't have the ability to compete. So you write everything off as being DEI. And thank you, Miss Lurie Favors Daniel, for the WEI, white, entitled, and incompetent. Because that's what we have in this administration. People that have been hosts, not even everyday hosts. They've been hosts on Fox on the weekend. We have the Tech Bros. We have Scott Bassett, the Department of Labor head, who's a billionaire, trying to say he doesn't think that the minimum wage, which is what, $7.25, should be raised to $15 or a decent wage. He just doesn't think that the people that have helped make his ass successful don't deserve a raise. They don't deserve to be able to take care of their families. What if everybody that has made all of these everybody that has contributed to the wealth of these billionaires, and especially that evil ass Peter Thiel, who looks like he's nothing but a face full of scar tissue. He looks like he's had his shit lifted or burned off or something. He looks unnatural. And he's unnaturally evil. What if all the people that have made it possible for them to live these lives of luxury, to be able to send their children to the best schools and et cetera, et cetera, what if nobody showed up? What if everybody, all the workers, just declared a fucking nationwide strike? And not for 1 day or 2 days, but bit the bullet and said, we ain't doing it for a month. We're not doing it until we actually get what we deserve. And the first thing is to be treated like decent human beings. Not, I don't know, it's the same kind of shit that immigrants hear about Black people before they get here. So they're anxious to align with white folks because they think they're the winning team. They are taught to hate us. We ain't nothing but pimps and hoes, and we're lazy and shiftless, and we want to rob and steal and blah, blah, blah. And then there, as one Pakistani gentleman said to me, he was surprised at the professionals that he saw when he lived in Atlanta. And I asked him, why was he fucking surprised? When the Cosby Show was rocking and rolling, everybody was thinking like, oh, this is a special Black family. No, that was the norm. That is our norm. That was not an exception. So I have a lot of things. I have notes and they're kind of all over the place. Oh, my last video about Sly Stone, they took that shit down. They gave me strikes for every song that I played. I don't mind. I had fun doing it. And it was pretty, I wasn't really pleased with my presentation anyway, but I had fun playing Sly's music. But they struck that girl. So if you go looking for it, you won't be able to find it. But I do hope you all did watch the Sly Stone documentary. It is worth the watch. And if you especially for people who may not know his music, I think you should check it out, because his music was actually like the mantras. It was the theme songs to a movement that was emerging here in this country. So speaking of, let's see, where do we begin? Well, the state of DisUnion. He stood up and did his usual lying and his usual campaign KKK rally bullshit. He stood up and lied and lied and lied and more lied. Yeah. As we were able to see in real time when he announced his tariffs, that the stock market actually tanking. And so Representative Al Green from Texas stood up and called it what it was. Oh, and little Mike Johnson, I guess his little pee-pee got hard when he was able to bang the gavel and have the Sergeant at Arms escort Representative Green out of the chamber. I guess he got a real nut on that one. But what was most disappointing was that there were Democrats who joined the MAGA nuts to censure Representative Green. And I am going to find the article because I want to call out those call out the Democrats who voted with MAGA to censure Representative Al Green, who went against their own guy, their own party. Instead of them all getting up and walking out with him, they voted to censure him. And y'all got the nerve to be sending people all these damn requests for money. I can't tell you how many text messages I get for money. I have to go in and delete them. They come like fast and furious. And if you make a donation, you can only expect more of those text messages and those emails asking you to donate so we can defeat them. Well, let me call out the names of those Democrats that voted to, along with MAGA, to censure Representative Al Green. There's Ami Bera, California; Ed Case, looks like Hawaii; Jim Costa, California; Lauren Gillen, New York; Jim Himes, I'm so disappointed, from Connecticut; Marcy Capture in Ohio; Jared Moskowitz, the representative from Florida, who was so good at giving James Comer Powell hell in the chamber. He voted for censure. Marie Gluesenkamp Perez and Tom Suozzi in New York. She was from Washington. Yeah, they voted to censure Representative Al Green. Now, we know in the past, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Bimbo Boebert were always disrespectful whenever Biden was in the chamber speaking. She came dressed, last time homegirl Green showed up in her happy hooker outfit, screaming and hollering, and Bimbo Boebert was just, they were right there being disrespectful. I don't recall. And maybe if somebody knows, I don't recall that she was censured or Boebert either. But I passed on something from Tabitha Speak Politics. If you haven't subscribe to her channel, by all means do. I like her reporting. I like the way she delivers. I think it's a good channel. She's a real sister. She did she just kind of did an open, I call it a sermonette for Representative Hakeem Jeffries, leader of the Democratic caucus. And she voiced what a lot of us are feeling. We're not looking for y'all to be fucking reasonable and stand on decorum. We're sick of that. And you're going to lose. Not only are we not going to contribute, but you're going to lose a bunch of young people. You're going to lose people in the party if y'all don't act like you got some fucking balls MAGA are not reasonable human beings. This is not any of the Republicans, the conservative in the past, pre-Mitch McConnell, before he got into power with his shady ass. These are not the Republicans that you could actually negotiate with, that you could actually debate with. MAGA are totally unreasonable. And guess what? Peter Thiel has gone quietly, even though he says he's out of politics. All of those MAGA Republicans that were running for office, he donated money to. But he got his boy Shady Vance in there as vice president, who is the dullest motherfucker. My God. I don't know how he made any babies. Because you can look and tell he ain't got no kind of game. I mean, damn, you know. You don't look at him more and say, I want some of that. Yeah, he's quietly, Thiel is quietly infiltrating the government, because according to a video that I watched earlier today, and just give me a moment, I'll go through my my history to give you the name of this channel, because you might want to go on and check this young man out. He said that when PayPal started in the beginning, it was Thiel and Musk's idea that they would use the banking system and the money and this particular company to overthrow the government. So you see, this is not new stuff. This is not a new idea. But now they are in the very fabric of our politics, and the useful idiot, because he owes that feckless baby daddy 14 children. And from my understanding, he didn't lay down and get them, quote, the natural, in quote, way. I guess he sends a sack of sperm with some in a rubber, and the ladies go through IVF, because I can't imagine. You don't look at him and say, oh yes, daddy, I can't wait to get a piece of that. Fuck no. You don't get that. He ain't got no game either. But anyway, I'm going to find this young man's channel, because it was short but very, very interesting. He gave us a history of Thiel, and it is called, was it Megalomania or no, Riverward. RIVERWAND, Riverwand. And the name of the video is The Man Behind the American Oligarchy. It's only about 20 minutes long. If you get an opportunity, go over and join his channel and listen to what he has to say, because it's very, very interesting. So speaking of feckless baby daddies, it's now been proven that it's not just a black thing. The way people were bagging on black men having babies by a bunch of different women, it seems that it ain't just a black thing no more. 14 children, 4 different baby mammies. And so we're going to talk about him for a minute. I don't, and him and his department, Dr. Lena calls it the Department of Greed and Evil. You know what department I'm talking about. And all of just the hatchet. He held up the chainsaw to our government. Now, I don't know anybody, the people in Congress, and they claim to want, this is both sides, they claim to want to cut out, waste and all of that. But you would expect that there would be a more to the process. You would expect reasonable people would want to call in the department heads, have them subject to audit, or have them bring in budget, etc. You wouldn't expect that an immigrant who came into this country illegally, who people worship as being this great creator, when he's created nothing but chaos. He bought Tesla, not his brain. And recently, within the last day or two, I guess he's put some taxpayer dollars just fucking blown up. And because of his fuck-ups, flights were interfered with. The water and the soil all is damaged forever. And yet his little fan club keeps thinking he's a great man. No, he is nothing but a grifter, just like the convicted felon, the person occupying the White House. And the reason he has to include this man in everything that he does is because dude is there for his ROI, his return on investment. He invested millions of dollars to help get your second answer. So you're going to have to do what he says. Plus, he's got a direct line to your real daddy, Vladimir Putin. And yeah, you getting played like a fucking orchestra. Because you know what? You didn't care where the money came from, just as long as you could get the money. You don't care where it comes from. But I don't. So he's done all of these mass firings. And of course, he went to the first agencies he destroyed with his ass. The EPA for what his bullshit is doing to the soil and the earth and the atmosphere. He was getting to be fined for some of his safety, his ignoring safety protocols for those tin can cars that everybody thinks they're so cool in when they get in one, and those ugly cyber trucks. Oh, by the way, I think he's gotten a $400 million contract, right? For them ugly ass cyber trucks. I don't know what our Department of Defense do with them, but anyway, yeah, he makes $8 million a day. How many of y'all that voted for the convicted felon and his president Nazi? How many of what did y'all earn today? Nothing. You don't have a fucking gig anymore. You voted for that. So don't whine. You don't get a chance to be surprised. I didn't vote for this. You did. Yes, you did. And unfortunately, we all have to suffer through this fucking nightmare because of your hatefulness, your selfishness, and I say your racism and your hatefulness, your self-loathing. So now he goes and destroys. He was being investigated for his racist, discriminatory hiring practices, all of that. But he got talking about he's saving money. No, he's not. He's the only one getting any money. I'm pleased to say since the stocks have tanked and Tesla's stock is being dumped. They're being dumped, and since his stock is down worldwide, he is about $121 billion less than who. So I refuse to say he's the richest man. I don't. No, he's not. It's his typical fucking spin. He gets involved and he anoints himself, and then there are those who believe that shit. Probably like those young boys like Big Balls and all those young cats that he's sending out to do the dirty work. I would caution them that when these lawsuits really get up and pumping and going, I wonder if he's going to help you pay for your attorney's fees, or, while y'all up there thinking you got all this juice and all this power, you might want to look down the line to see if there's going to be any saving grace or any help for you, because these lawsuits are heating up, and judges have said that what he is doing is unlawful. You don't just send out a fucking email to millions of people telling them if they don't answer, then they can consider themselves fired. That's no. And then he gets his high ass on his X platform. I don't know why anybody's even still on X. Why don't y'all go on over to Blue Sky? Why he's still on X? The X is only for him to be able to voice his opinion. It's not for anybody else. And as long as you can agree with what he's saying, you can stay there. But the first time you say things like he sucks dick and swallows, then you get barred or kicked off the platform. Anyway, the only frauds and the only waste of taxpayer money are that stank bastard that's sitting in that seat where that little boy who was rubbing boogers on the Resolute desk told him that you are not the real president. His stank ass and his good for nothing daddy. They are the frauds. And they may as well just back a big fucking one of them several of those ugly ass Cybertrucks up and just dump y'all's money, our money into the back, because they getting ready to pull off the greatest heist in history of this nation if they are not stopped in their tracks. They are preparing to rob taxpayers, and now you're screaming because they said they weren't going to touch Social Security and Medicaid, and now we find out not only are they going to touch it, they have figured out a way they can break them off a piece and put it into, I guess, his sovereign wealth fund. Who's the sovereign wealth fund going to help? Is it going to help anybody else but him and his buddy? You see, he doesn't have money. He's got to pay. He's got to dance. This man, we thought he was the devil. No, he's surrounded with the devil. The devil is his butt buddy in Russia. It's a disgrace. Speaking of, that in a recent resolution or something that's being passed in the UN, that this country stood with North Korea and Russia. Everything this man touches, he shits and pisses on and defiles and makes it trash. And he knows he knows he's trash. He knows he is. But he also knows that a lot of the people, his cult are trash, and they want to hear what he's got to say, because he tells it like it is. No, he doesn't. He lies to you so that you take your kids' college funds and you take out mortgages on your house so you can put it in his pocket, while he continues to lie and sell you phony ass coins and memes and buy this and buy that. He's a fucking snake. He reminds me of Mr. Haney on Green Acres. Anybody that have watched Green Acres knows Mr. Haney was a shyster. He was a fucking snake oil salesman, and he was always trying to sell his anybody that would believe him would buy some shit from him. He is Mr. Haney sitting up in the White House, stinking up the place. And the way he treated President Zelensky should have us all ashamed. The Democrats, Hakeem, y'all need to issue a fucking apology to President Zelensky for his treatment. He didn't start this war, and he didn't start that argument. And I bet as red as that stinking bastard was, and Noah Counselor says when he gets angry, he loses his bowels. I bet there wasn't enough fucking Febreze in the land to sweeten that sweeten that room up. He and for JD Vance with his tired ass, you haven't said thank you. Where the fuck have you been, nigga? He said thank you many, 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 many times. But do you think, first of all, that you can broker a peace deal without them being there? You think just because you can send an emissary with a piece of paper and demand that he signed it, that you get 50% of his rare earth minerals in perpetuity? You're not doing it for the United States. It's something you brokering for your buddy, for your butt fuck buddy, Putin. And y'all can share it. But see, I'm hoping that President Zelensky doesn't sign a goddamn thing with you, because you don't honor contracts. You are not a man of integrity. You will lie to get what you want. And that's what you have done all of your fucking life. while you lie to yourself. But oh, baby, I know when you lay down at night and there ain't nobody around but you and that liquefied brain of yours that's leaking out onto your pillow. Oh, I know who you are. You're the man who said you never had to ask God for forgiveness because you've never done anything wrong. You about to fuck around and find out, son. Oh, yes. All of your tricks, all of your pranks, all of that phony ass assassination attempt. Why the fuck has nobody been talking to that young man's parents since that went down in Butler, Pennsylvania? Was that young man a sacrificial lamb? Why? Nope. It just seems like his parents have just disappeared into the ether. You don't hear about them anymore. Nobody seems to be interested in speaking with them. Were they paid off to lose their son so that you could get a chip of glass? First of all, anybody that knows assault weapons, knows any weapon with a bullet that size, your stupid ass wouldn't be here. It would rip the side of your head off, not just nick you in the ear where you walking around with fucking maxi pads on your ear. Y'all think that shit's cool? A man died. Yeah. Somebody lost their life. And you know what? She wouldn't take President Biden's call when he called to express his condolences because her dead husband wouldn't want that. He ain't here, bitch. What has this man done for you since that time? I bet nothing. But anyway, back to him and his friend who is running the Department of Greed and Evil, even though he's saying he's not running and he's not heading up the Department of Good and Evil, and how we're going to have to suffer a little bit. We're going to have to it's going to hurt a little bit, y'all, but it's going to get right in the end. If you believe that, then you some stupid motherfuckers. If you believe that all of these mass firings just going in and ruining people's lives while your representatives have the nerve to stand up and say you don't deserve your job. Traitor Green, Mr. Ed Jr., it's been said that her mouth, when she speaks, her mouth smells like a donkey's ass after he's taken a shit. Maybe that's why her boyfriend's face looks like it's all puffed up and swollen and shit, because he's got to smell it on a regular. She actually sat there and talked about how y'all didn't deserve any jobs. You weren't doing nothing. Does she not realize that she's a government employee? Ooh. If she had a brain bigger than a pea, her head would fucking explode. Oh, she's so happy to be the head of a committee. But what I'm happy about is that Jasmine Crockett is also, she sits on that committee. So bleach, blonde, bad built, butch body bitch, you can't shake her, okay? And I bet you'll think twice before you try to come for her again. Because we're going to all remember that moment. Yeah. So, yeah, do any of you think, I bet some of you have relatives who depend on Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid, who are anxious about whether or not they're going to get their monthly stipend. Something that you begin, the first time you get employed and get a check, that is the first place, that's money that's taken out of your earnings. You don't get a chance to say you don't want to do that. And yet it's called an entitlement. When every time you make some money and get a check, you breaking off a piece that's going into Social Security. I bet you have relatives who are dependent on medicines, insulin, etc. Do you know that there are no generic medications for diabetics? And President Biden had negotiated so that you could get your insulin at $30, I think, a vial, rather than having to pay $300 and then decide whether you were going to even have any money for food or for your other just basic living expenses. You voted for it. You voted for it. It saddens me, when I hear the folks that voted and say we didn't have a choice. Yes, you did. And you just couldn't bring yourself to vote for a woman. You couldn't bring yourself to, this is going to be just another extension of Obama's administration. It was so fucking what? It was better than what we have now. It was better than what we got after President Obama. And now they're talking about the debt ceiling. Do you know, have these cats, what do they call me, eunuchs, that are called the Republican Party, the emasculated men and the barren women who are part of that party? Have they forgotten how the debt got to be as high as it did? They seem to have selective memory. To the farmers who are now worried. Now, it's been rumored that those gold cars that he's selling for $5 million is to entice South Afrikaners to come to this country because there's a lie floating that the farmers are being mistreated in South Africa. You know what? I wouldn't give a damn if they were. You are cruel people. You think you are chosen. You think you are special, but you are not. Your blood is weak. A drop of any blood from any color strengthens your weak ass blood. But anyway, it's to get them to come over here. They were saying the farmers are being mistreated, and he wants them. This is all Musk and Thiel and that whole. This is all them. They want where are they going to get the farmland? Do you think farmers are just going to give up their land? They're now concerned because they may not have any workers to harvest their crops. Hell, they may not be able to even plant because what? They voted for him and they got fucked around and fucked over again. Veterans, y'all got screwed too. Those of you that voted for him. So now you're wondering about whether or not you're going to have health care, that you're going to get the medication and the treatments you need after you have given up limbs, after you have done something millions of us couldn't do, which is go fight for democracy. You're wondering now whether or not you're going to be able to get the medications and the service that you need, because I think about 80,000 people are scheduled to be removed from the Veterans Affairs Department. And Alina Habba, who said she'd rather be pretty than smart because she could fake being smart, and who every time she opens her fucking mouth says she ain't even good at faking being smart, has said, that y'all don't deserve any money either. You don't deserve any consideration. You don't deserve it. I'm wondering what's going on with my background. I ain't never had no black background. Let me see something. Why the hell did this thing go black on me? I don't like the black background. There's some new features on StreamYard, and I have to go in and get familiar with them and get that stupid duck out of there. Let my beauty shine through on the logo up at the top. I have to go and study to see how I just got to get my weight up, kick my game up. So yeah, lives are being destroyed by these men. Why is it he's not the one that is the treatment? I go back to President Zelensky. The treatment of that man, it's an aberration. It was the most embarrassing thing. There's nothing that only a stupid ass smooth brain motherfucker would think that that's something to be proud of, that he's tough and he stood up. No, he's a whining ass baby. And he's probably got angry because the man didn't just bend the knee to him. And again, I hope Zelensky doesn't sign any kind of contract with this man, because he's not going to honor it. And he's doing it for his butt buddy, Putin. He's bending over so that Putin can run up in him dry and as often and with sandy Vaseline or Vaseline with chipped glass in it. He's doing it for him. They're planning to get wealthy. Don't do it, President Zelensky. Don't. And I'm proud to see that Europe has said, fuck you. We can't depend on you. We are living on the same land mass as this psychopath. We're going to do what we have to do because our democracies matter to us. And oh, Canada, baby. Canada delivered, and so did President Sheinbaum in Mexico. He came up with that tariff bullshit again. Well, guess what? They hit back, and they hit back hard. And from what I understand, Prime Minister Trudeau is saying we will not lift the tariffs. He's not going to play this yo-yo fucking game with us. He's not going to tell us that you're going to impose tariffs, and if you don't come around and do what I say do. First of all, the deals on the border were sealed with President Biden. He didn't negotiate anything. He's not a fucking deal maker. That's the lie he's told you. Y'all saw somebody on The Apprentice that could say you're fired. And you think that's who he is? He's playing a character. He's a loser in every aspect of the word. Oh, yeah, and speaking of, we know who's wearing the pants in that family, because Melania is showing up in her butch garb, baby. She looking like some woman's daddy. I like the gold suit, though. I thought that looked pretty hot. You know, I didn't like the black tie necessarily, but the suit I thought was nice. But she's been showing up in her butch clothes, so we know who's wearing the pants in that scene. I guess she thinks if she wears a pantsuit, people will take her seriously, as she's now trying to change her image and try to make us believe that she was anything more than a hoe. She's trying so hard to be relevant. Now she's got some kind of campaign going called Take It Down, where she's fighting against revenge porn or some shit like that. Girl, bye. Because his butt buddy, Putin, released all those pictures of you showing your ass. That's to let him know, I'll do more than this if you get out of line. I really think that there's some truth to those PP tapes. We didn't know what he and Putin spoke about in Helsinki because he tore up the notes. You never, a real president never goes into the meeting with another head of state and not take a note taker. But he's so fucking shady that he's been doing that. All those documents he stole, he's a traitor. Everybody in his administration are traitors. If Russia is happy about Tulsi Gabbard being over the DNI, then you know what? They happy for a reason. She's an asset. Hegseth is just an alcoholic who he did serve. Thank you for your service, sir. But you never led. And the organizations that you did lead, you bled dry or you fucked up. You too, sir, have abused women. You too, sir, have been accused of being an rapist. Had to pay money to keep it quiet, and your mammy, in a sane moment, told the truth about your ass. And we're supposed to believe that you're not, you drinking, son. You've got to have it. And why is McMahon head? They want to destroy the Department of Education because they don't think black folks need an education, y'all. They see that we've turned. Oh, they're teaching CRT. No, they are not teaching critical race theory in any grade school or high school. That is a graduate course offered in some law schools studying the system of racism. But see, white folks will never, ever, I don't think they'll ever accept the fact that you are the architects of othering people. You are the architects of racism. That's your shit. There's no such thing as reverse racism because we don't have the power. So anyway, Hex's mother, in a moment of clarity, would have us believe that he's going down a straight and narrow. No, he's not. He can't. He's got an illness. Yeah, the convicted felon himself has blown out his shit. He was known in New York for riding around with all the coke and the young girls in limousines. He had a reputation. And according, I think, to Michael Cohen and Noel Cashler, he blew his nose out so badly that he had to have his nose worked on. There's a little scar in the upper right-hand corner of his upper left-hand side. Up at the top of his nose, he had to have a septum rebuilt. But now, and it's caused him to lose his bowels because that coke is cut with laxatives, manite. Don't ask me how I know. So he loses his bowels. He has no control of that. And when he gets excited, when he gets angry, that's when it bruce. You remember when he went to Paris for the opening of the Notre Dame, I think was it the cathedral, and those women were sitting behind him with their hands up to their noses. That wasn't because he was perfuming up the place, but it wasn't with nothing sweet, baby. But how dare anybody say anything about it? Because if you say anything about it, if you quote facts about it, guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna sue you or come after you. They want to talk about freedom of speech. Nobody's ever stopped any of those bastards from talking. I wish they would put a sock in Taylor Greene's mouth. Nobody stopped them from from talking. But they want to stop everybody else that doesn't agree with him. He wants to have a certain group of people in the pressers now. So now we have Breitbart, we have OAN, we have Fox, we have all of the ones that said nice things about him. As he stated in his State of the DisUnion address, I look at the Democrats, there's nothing I can do to make them happy, for them to clap, for them to stand. Hell no, you could quit. But then we'd have Vance, and then we have the Keebler Elf. We have that lion-ass Mike Johnson. I bet if his wife is on her knees so that he could get the gig, I wonder how many times he's asking for forgiveness because he lies every time he opens his mouth also. Look, y'all, it's imperative that we get the Senate and we get the House back in next year in 2026 if we can survive 2025. It's imperative because impeachment will go forth. And there won't be anybody like Mitch McConnell to stop it. We must continue. Unfortunately, as the song said, we got to take it to the streets. Oh, and on March 14th is a National Strike Day. But if you watch Lights Out, with Jessica Denson, she's been talking about this illegitimate presidency and fighting hard. She's been hit hard, but she's still standing and calling for the 14th Amendment to be invoked. You notice how when all of this was going down, Jamie Raskin, Representative Raskin, whom I really respect and adore, also a constitutional genius, a constitutional law professor, I think. He was talking a lot about the 14th Amendment. And then all of a sudden, there was no more discussion. There's, talk about the whole election being stolen because Elon, he's a real good tech guy. He knows a lot about computers, especially those vote counting machines. I know what they did in Georgia because I'm a Georgia voter, making it possible for a poll worker or somebody counting the votes to challenge somebody's ballot. They don't know you, but they can challenge it because they don't like the way the signature is, or they don't like something about it, probably because you voted Democrat. I know when I go to my voter page in Georgia that usually they will put up on your voter page the party that you voted for. This last time, they haven't done it. They accepted my vote, but they didn't tell me, they didn't have in a section about which party you voted for, that I voted a straight Democrat ticket. And believe me, I believe in phone calling and writing. I want to know why. Because Georgia pulled a bunch of fucking tricks. And now Kemp, who is the descendant of the Havishams who were slave owners in the state of Georgia, now karma has come to bite him on his ass because he needs help from FEMA. He needs an extension for cleanup from the last hurricane. But what did his buddy tell him? Fuck you. You're not getting another. You can't get nothing from me. How dare you come out and thank President Biden for giving you what you needed? How dare you deny me those 11,781 votes? How dare you? He even said of that Stacey Abrams was kicking Kemp's ass, and it was because of him that Kemp became a governor, that he helped him win the state of Georgia as governor, and he shouldn't have done it. He knew that Raffensperger and Kemp could cheat real good, which is why he had the nerve to ask him for those votes in the first place. Because if Stacey Abrams and a bunch of us hadn't had our foot, if that fucking election wasn't being so closely monitored and watched, you better believe, baby, that he would have gotten those votes. The only reason Raffensperger even released the tapes is because his family was being threatened by MAGA. So they're not, he didn't do the right thing for the right reasons. So now his ass can't get no more money. So I guess since you, Kemp, since you said you would use your pickup truck to drive illegal aliens back across the border, you might get that fucking girl cranked up so you can go out and help clean up some of the debris left behind from the hurricane. Because your boy said he ain't giving you a goddamn thing. Going back to the head of the Department of Greed and Evil, the Nazi, the ketamine addicted, the party boy, who's running shit for real. Someone told me that there's a strange ritual that happens in the beginning of the workday at Tesla. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. This is what I heard, and I haven't actually researched it to see if it's true. But that when people, before they begin their workday, is that the people that work there worship his mammy, that they're burnt offerings and shit, and they lift her up. I guess she's supposed to be the equivalent to Mary, the mother of Yeshua, the one who is, was, and will always be. I guess because she gave birth to such a brilliant motherfucker that, they raise up offerings to her ass. Oh, please. If that's the truth, that's some demonic shit right there. My God. Oh, my God. That is so. Anyway, I'm really happy that Scheinbaum and Justin Trudeau and all the prime ministers in Canada are letting this man know that we will not play these games. You don't get a chance to jerk us around. You don't get a chance to impose a tariff on Tuesday and then on Wednesday because the stock markets are crashing and you're losing money. And Musk is $121 billion down. He needs our taxpayer money, y'all. If he didn't have government contracts and subsidies, he wouldn't be a billionaire. What if taxpayers said, fuck it, I'm not paying any taxes until the billionaires pay their share? What if there was just a mass tax revolt? Why is it that they'll come after you for a few dollars, and yet these people get breaks? And he's not even, and homeboy is not even, he's not even hiring people from this country because he said, y'all too stupid. Y'all too fucking dumb, white boys and girls. I have to get me some slaves from India who know this stuff and who'll work the hours that I require them to work. And they won't moan and groan and want days off. And my grandnephew was working there, and he wanted to take time off to walk his mother down the aisle when she got married. And they wouldn't give him the time off, so he quit. If we were speaking and ask him what it was like to work at Tesla. But that's a whole nother bag. That's some family bullshit. So let's continue on. I'm going to get off in a minute because it is Friday night. And y'all probably got places to go and people to see. I want to send up, some prayer for the Pope, who is seriously ill. If y'all get an opportunity, look up, I think it's Saint Malachi, Malachy, or Bishop Malachi. He was a bishop in the Catholic Church who fell into a trance. And this was, I believe, and I don't know what years, but way, way, way early days of the church. And he was able to name all of the popes and all of what their names meant and what kind of work that they were going to do within the Catholic Church. Check it out because he named them accurately all the way up to the current one. But the warning that he gave is that when the last pope dies, the city of the 7 hills will crumble. So y'all check that out. You can find information. You can just Google that. I did, and to be refreshing about it. And also, so we send up prayers for him. I think he's a pretty nice man or a decent man. I don't agree. I think the Catholic Church is and religion overall ain't nothing but a big scam. It's nothing but about control. It has nothing to do with the Holy Spirit or the true and living God. It has nothing to do with that. It's about control. And we can see what's happening with this cult of personality. We can see all of these evil motherfuckers walking around talking about Taylor Green. I worship Jesus. And all of them is being Christian nationalists. Their God lacks compassion, empathy. Their God lacks love. Their God is divisive, evil, hateful, and hate-filled. I wonder what God they're serving. And I use the word Christian with a lowercase c, because they are not at all. They're not. I think it was Cash Peters who said that they're not even in the shadow of the Christ, let alone in his footsteps. And these evangelicals filled with adulterers, pedophiles, homosexuals, the ones that they stand up and give those burning ass sermons about what God hates. That all of them are. You don't even know who you listening to in the pulpit anymore. If I were to go out and have 10 of my gay friends with me and ask all 10 of them how they got turned out, 9 of them would say, or maybe even the 10 would say, a pastor did it. So for those of you who want to crack on the gays, you don't even know what your pastor's doing. And the Catholic Church is notorious, baby, for the abuse of young men and women. They've had to pay out an awful lot of money for the shit that they've done to young men. I don't want to hear nothing out of an evangelical's mouth, especially a white one. They can't tell me shit. If you get an opportunity, go to a channel called Not the Good Girl. She does in-depth reporting on Jimmy Swaggart and a number of the evangelicals who would poison the airways with their bullshit on their Daystar, on their television stations. And one most interesting was the interview of the hooker that Swaggart was caught with. And she said out of her own mouth how he began to ask her about her 9-year-old daughter and wanting to know if she would bring her along. And yet he wants to get in the pulpit and say he needs to talk to the black church. Nah, nigga, you need to go talk to your God. The black, no. The reason there is a black church is because crackers didn't want us to worship with them. So we didn't. Just like they didn't want us to go to their colleges. So we formed our own HBCUs, which are now threatened because the convicted felon, his stank ass, wants to deny them federal funding and return it to the white people for reparations for the pain and suffering that they have endured. That bullshit. Why? Because again, they want to erase just the way they erased it out of that the presence of blackness in the King James version, mind you, of the Bible. There are many versions. I'm studying the Ethiopian Bible, the original Bible, the one with 88 books. I'm studying that one, but I digress. Why? Because they want to erase the presence of blackness in this nation. They think that they think that somehow the truth will never, ever come out about the atrocities committed not only during slavery, but right up to current times. They're still going on. In some of those backwoods country ass town with those feral, Marjorie Taylor Greene's family, those feral ass people living up in the woods, they're still hanging and lynching. We just don't hear about it along the Black Belt. So anyway, I know I was talking about the Pope. We send some prayers to him. Also, go to Joy Reid's YouTube channel. Read on this, read on that, where she and her cousin have some wonderful content. They let her go over down to the MSNBC. Rachel Maddow took no time in defending her and talking about what a big mistake it was that all those faces of color are no longer on MSNBC. But Joe and Mika are still there. And CNN and MSNBC and all of these mainstream media wonder why people are not watching them, because you are not reporting the truth. Trump makes you money, so that's who you report on. Now, I didn't always agree with Joy. I didn't like the way some of the things she said about President Biden. I didn't like that. But I dug her as a sister, and I agree with her much, much more than I disagree with her. Jonathan Capehart did a great show on Sundays. All the brown people Katie Fang is gone. And I think, what's the lady's name? I think her name was Hernandez, the Latina lady who also did great reporting. All of them are gone. And they're doing it because all of the CEOs of mainstream media donated to the convicted felons presidential bank. They donated money because they don't want him to drag them. They don't want to be sued, even though they would win in a court of law. But what's law? What fucking difference does it make? He has proved, and his cabinet members, all of those, that the law don't mean a damn thing, and neither does, hey J.O., neither does the Constitution. It doesn't mean shit. That's why he didn't put his hand on the Bible during the swearing in. And John Roberts should have stopped the swearing in and said, we can't go further with this until you put your hand on the Bible, Mr. President. So he showed that he was not going, he's not going to take an allegiance to protect the Constitution. That he's moving fast and furious forward with Project 2025. All we have now are the lawsuits that have piled up, over 100 lawsuits right now. And because they went through and did a sweep of everybody in the Department of Justice, they now have a bunch of incompetent ass attorneys that ain't ready. They can't even begin to defend these defend the lawsuits because they don't have enough attorneys, and the ones they do have are ignorant as shit. Pam Bondi, she's a blonde. I'm not saying she doesn't know the law, but she's a blonde. You notice he's got a type. The ones that are blonde and remind him of Ivanka and what he wanted to do to her, what he said out of his own mouth, what he would do with her if she wasn't his daughter. You know, he invested a whole lot of money to get that grill fixed, baby, that face fixed, because she looked nothing like that. When I lived in New York and would see her, she didn't look like she's looking now. And all of them, Eric, Ivanka, and John, they look like they got too many fucking teeth. They look like ghouls, like that they eat the flesh of dead people or something. Yeah. So, yeah, he's got a type. I told you I had notes in this, and they're all over the place because there's so much that happened during this last week or so. I didn't watch the State of DisUnion. I don't want to hear. I can't stand to hear his voice. You know, I can't stand all of the sycophants, all the addicts, alcoholics, the feckless baby daddy, the unqualified sycophants. They all pussy ass bitches and traitors, every last one of them. They are all traitors to this nation. And it's about time that people in the media begin to call it what it is. He's a traitor. And stop trying to tap dance around it, or, you know, where instead of calling it a lie, it's an untruth or he misspoke. No, if he's breathing, he's fucking lying. Them 4 or 5 strands of hair on his head are a lie. He might ask Elon, who did his hair transplants, because they did a good ass job on his. Have y'all seen pictures of him before he got his hairline fixed? Must look revolting. Revolting. Oh, but we do have a success story. I'm proud of my senator from Georgia, Senator and Reverend Raphael Warnock, because Raphael Warnock succeeded in getting some CDC workers who were let go back on the job. Just the way they got an email saying you either respond to this or you're fired, they got an email telling them to come on back to work. This story was from WSB Radio. I'm so proud of him. I really am. And I pray that he that he and John Ossoff remain represent. He's the first black senator from the state of Georgia. You know, it's a shame that in this man's year of 2025 that we as black people are still fighting to be looked upon as equals, as human beings, that we are still fighting to be able to vote. Are you kidding me? What are you talking about, J-Lo? He wants the original Constitution moved to the Oval Office. Why? So he can pee on it? He can't read it. It wouldn't, I mean, let it stay where it is. He can't fucking read. But anyway, I'm just going to read a little bit about what Raphael Warnock was able to get those people's jobs restored. And this is coming from WSB Radio. After public pressure from Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock, the Trump administration partially reinstated some of CDC's probationary workers. Some of the workers who were reinstated were young scientists at local health departments and lab workers who helped on investigations in public health threats. Warnock went to the Senate floor last month to defend the life-saving work they do at the CDC. And I digress. I worked for the CDC for a brief time. I worked in a division with the doctors, the epidemiologists, and the scientists who would be dispatched to anywhere in the world if there was a hot spot or a disease that was happening. I worked in that department. I'll tell you more about that later. The CDC is one of those entities that I think is vastly underrated and underappreciated. Where in the world would we be without the CDC? Warnock, end quote. Warnock says today's announcement is welcome relief, but he says until all fired CDC employees are restored, our country's public health and national security will continue to be at risk. He continued saying, quote, the CDC works to ensure our food and water are safe. Our brave service members stay healthy when serving abroad, and top researchers have the resources they need to combat heart disease, maternal mortality, cancer, and diabetes. I'm glad my defense of the CDC was heard by the leadership of the Trump administration, which is why I'm calling on the Trump administration to reinstate all CDC employees, end quote. Now, why would they do that when they have Frankenstein heading up our Department of Health? You know, another digression. Sometimes the genes and the chromosomes and all that shit don't actually gel and work. Robert Kennedy Jr. looks like a monster. I just can't imagine. I cannot imagine rolling over and looking at that face in the morning. Oh my God. I'd wake up screaming, thinking I was in a fucking nightmare. And now that we have a measles outbreak, he says that there ought to be some alternatives for curing the disease or whatever. I don't know. He's talking out of his brain worm addled, heroin addled fucking mind. Because I believe he's on some drugs too. If this is for entertainment purposes only, I might need to put that banner up. I can't shoot. I forgot to do that. I was trying to do a crash course and learning. When I logged on the StreamYard, there were some new features. Like, I don't like this black background. I don't know what it is. I hate it. So I'm going to have to put up a new scene because I don't like this. It's not nice to me. Yeah, we got a nutter, an anti-vaxxer, who's not spent any time in medical school, who knows a damn thing, who's head of our health department. And when I worked at the CDC, it was really very interesting, the division that I worked in. It was a very interesting, I had a lot of respect for those doctors because I think Ebola might have just been starting, or we were just beginning to hear rumblings, because the only thing I would do really was I'd have to order supplies or get them prepared to leave the country whenever there was a disease or something going on in any other part of the world. I'm surprised to get anything done at the government, really, because when I worked there, I would go around and ask the doctors if there was anything I could do. And they just said, you're fine. We'll let you know when we need you. Sort of like that. I couldn't wait to get back into the private sector because I have to be busy. I can't go anywhere and stay for 8 or 9 hours and not be doing something. And of course, you had to stay within the government, the intranet. You didn't have the ability to go outside on any social media or anything. So I found it exciting yet kind of boring because it wasn't busy enough for me. Let me see if I can get my background back. Well, I guess not. I'm going to have to work on that. All right. So I think I have gone through everything that I wanted, or just about everything that I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah, J-Lo, Mike Johnson's chief of staff. His name is Hayden Hayes. He was arrested. He got arrested with a DUI. Yeah. He hit a government car. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, boy. Alcoholics, I told y'all. They're all drinking. I think some of the people working for these crazy people are driven, because they said before when Dr. Ronnie Jackson or Ronnie Johnson, as a convicted felon, called him with his, again, liquefied brain, that you could get any kind of drug you wanted from him. You didn't have to give him a reason. He was truly Dr. Feelgood. He was taking the shit himself. So that everybody in the convicted felons administration in his first term were all high as fuck. That might have been the fun part of the gig. But I would imagine dealing with this shit every day just to have a job, even if you know what you're doing is wrong, even if you know that he's lying, even if you've been driven to drinking drugs just to keep a job. Shouldn't be that way. So I promised you that I'm continuing to do my research on the evangelicals. We have Paula White, that hooker. She's supposedly his spiritual counselor. She's the one that climbed up into fame on the backs of black folks. She really popped out. She was doing pretty good. But when T.D. Jakes invited her into his church, all these black women and black men fell in love with her ass. But she's a blonde too. So, and she has herself a condo in Trump Tower in New York. So, yeah, they go back a long way. But now he's cooked up some kind of division, some spiritual something or other. It's another cooked up division, just like the Department of Greed and Evil, and just like his cryptocurrency division. And it's all made up, y'all. It's all a fucking nightmare on Elm Street. It's all made up in his drug-addled mind. But she's his spiritual advisor. And the last time she started praying for him and calling on the spirits, She called on the spirits from Africa. That was the wrong thing to do because all her ass got was a fucking hurricane. Ain't no spirit from Africa coming down the passage to save his ass. So I guess she's on her hands and knees now. And she might not be praying. Ha ha. You know what I mean. Her latest husband used to be he's a pastor, used to be a keyboard player for Journey. And now they have been sued by Journey to stop playing Journey's music. So, but they're pastors now. I can't go to Not the Good Girl and read and hear about Paula White. But the reason I bring up the evangelicals is because I'm going to do a deep study about a particular Bible verse in the King James Version of the Bible that I've never heard a pastor speak on, but one in which I found very telling and very intriguing. I'm not going to tell you which one. I want it to be a surprise. So in the meantime, thank you, J-Lo, for coming over. As I said, I'm late. I know this is Friday night, and there are a lot of things going on the internets and the interwebs. A lot of content creators are out there doing readings, etc. I'm going to go back to our regular Wednesday night meetings. I simply haven't been feeling well. My energy has been low. As I stated at the top of this video, last Wednesday I had a fever. I could feel something was going on in my body. I have to talk it. I have to talk it down and banish it from the kingdom because it's a situation that some years in about 2014, 15, and 16, I had required some very serious surgery to be corrected. So I know that when I get stressed or when I don't release things, when I don't express myself or whatever, it flares up. And so I had to sit and talk that away because it cannot live here anymore. So I wasn't feeling good last Wednesday, but we'll return Wednesdays. 5 p.m. Pacific time, I think is 8 p.m. Central time and 9 p.m. Eastern time. So look forward to that. Thank you so much, J-Lo, and for those that, the 2 or 3 that popped in and out, thank you so much for coming over to spend a little bit of Friday night time with me. I really appreciate all of you for doing that because it's Friday night. Shit, I almost got dressed and went out to kick up my heels. However, it felt better for me to kind of stay in and to at least get out and let you know that I'm not. Well, of course, you need to have a mental break if you're ever talking about the convicted felon and his clown car people. Yeah, I know, J-Lo. I have to do better at releasing the crap that can kind of clog your mind up, because this is tough for this particular situation. Since the presidential election and the inauguration, all of that, it has been stressful. People have lost their fucking minds. And if anything, you have to work extremely hard to get out of depression and to find your sweet spot, find your space where the joy resides. It takes extra work. Oh, and one more thing I want to mention. Marjorie Taylor Greene and some other Senator Clyde, these Georgia representatives, I don't know if it's in the water or what, but they are in the convicted felon's ear for him to pardon Derek Chauvin. Now, we know Chauvin is a man who kneeled on George Floyd's neck. We saw him, M-U-R-D-E-R, this man in plain sight. Musk seems to think he was railroaded, but I digress. We saw this with our own eyes. And so they're in this liquid brain bastard's ear telling him to pardon him. I want to warn Black people. Let him. Do not fall for the bait. He's looking for any fucking reason to get us back out in the streets where Black lives will be lost, where he can call martial law. Any excuse, because they want to compare what happened in the White House, where people were in Congress shitting and pissing on the walls and threatening to kill people and putting up a gallows and all. They want to compare that to Black Lives Matter riots. They want to compare that. Because you see, anything a Black person does is so much worse than what a white person does on a daily fucking basis. Oh, we must learn to not feel guilty for doing what they do all the fucking time. Murder is murder. It doesn't matter if you are Black or you are white or you are yellow or you are red. It doesn't matter. To take someone's life is a crime, period. And it doesn't make it any better or any worse because of your color. And I hope that this fucking AI algorithm that YouTube has been fucking with me a lot. They put me on timeout because I call the people coons. The ones that went to the White House on the very last day of Black History Month. The Koonarians. The Black men and women who voted for this stinking, liquid-brained, convicted felon. Yeah, you coons. I understand. Well, thank you for voting. At least you did use your right to vote. But I don't thank you for fucking everybody, fucking your own people. They have some brother named Muhammad something or other on CNN. I just believe he wants a moment in the sun. I can't, they got rid of Paris Denard because Bakari Sellers used to eat his ass up all the time. And another brother, can't think of his name right now, who's on the CNN panels. But I just think he just wants his moment in the sun, child. I don't think he believes the shit that he's talking about, begging Trump, I'm going to stop calling him. He'll always and forever be a convicted felon to me, a criminal defendant. Fulton County inmate number P0011358809. He'll always be that to me. Telling him that he was making it hard for Black people to defend him or their vote because there ain't no damn defense. Y'all want to talk about Democrats? I didn't say Democrat Party was perfect. No, hell, none of them are. But it was the Democrat that voted that signed Lyndon Johnson, who didn't even want to do it. He signed the Civil Rights Act into law, which has been gutted by John Roberts Court. And who was that boy that died went on the camping trip down in Texas? Who was that justice? Starts with an Scalia. I believe he was doing some kinky shit. Word on the street was for entertainment purposes only. He was a gasper, and that he was doing some freak shit down there. How the hell? They must have called the same coroner that they called when Mother Ivana was gone under suspicious circumstances. How the hell is a coroner going to make a pronouncement over the goddamn phone? Anyway, yeah, I didn't say they were perfect, but at least we stand a chance, and we have some brilliant Black women and men that are in our party that are doing the best they can. They really are. And I'm going to forever be cheering for Jasmine Crockett, Summer Lee, Ayanna Presley, Maxwell Frost, Ilhan Omar. Talib is on timeout because her ass is what got her people in this situation in the first that they're currently first facing in Gaza. And she wants to always throw up Detroit, the blackest city that on the planet, and that she loves and blah blah blah. Girl, bye. I ain't trying to hear that noise. I've been to Dearborn. I know we weren't welcome in your community even before now, okay? So don't act like Dearborn was such a loving and warm neighborhood or area or suburb for blacks to be. They thought that all black women, attractive black women, had to be dancers or hoes. So don't try to play me with that. But anyway, so yeah, we have brilliant people, and Mr. Al Green, not let's stay together, not him, not that Al Green. We talking Representative Al Green from Texas, who has introduced impeachment resolutions, who is stood up and called out that man for being the liar that he is. Oh, but baby, little Mike Johnson's his little dick must have gotten hard as a rock, baby, that he could have somebody escorted out of the chamber. But you know what? We still have a chance. So going back to voting, nah, the Dems ain't perfect, but they better than what everybody who wants to talk about what the Dems haven't done can never tell you what the Republicans have done for black people, because they haven't done shit. And to believe the myth that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves because he somehow had a love for black people is just that. It's a lie. It's a myth. That's not true. He in his own words, never thought that a black man or black people would ever have the intellectual capacity that white people think they have above all other people on the planet. I guess he must be turning over in his grave, because we have certainly disproved that. So I'm going to get off this. It's 10:43. I know it's late on the East Coast. Again, I'll be back on Wednesday as our regular time together, and hopefully we do your best to get through these next days. Each day feels like an eternity, doesn't it? Because every day there's something, just like it was before. Every day he's doing some fuck shit. Every day. I'm not going to tell you how to act, because I'm struggling myself. I'm not going to tell you how. I'm not going to tell you to just step back and breathe and remain. No, honor your feelings. I've said it once and I've said it before. Anger can be very, very motivating. You can get angry enough to actually want to do something about the situation. So I'm hopeful that we'll get angry enough that we will do something to make sure that he and none of the traitors in his cabinet will ever be able to darken the halls of Congress and the White House again. That the time that when they are brought up on charges this time, there will be no alien cannons around or Sambo, aka Thomas. I think that's probably what Jenny calls him when she puts her strap on and they get busy. She probably be beating the crap out of him, calling him Sambo. They won't be around to try to say that what this man, to tank the case, that she herself will be called up as the traitor that she is, that your ambition, sis, will have you lose, not only be impeached from the bench, but you won't be able to practice law. I'm not going to tell you how to get through the day. I'm just going to say, do the best that you can. Do the best you can, because that's what we're all of us who didn't vote for this aberration, we're doing the best that we can each day. And sometimes the best you can do is get up and put one foot in front of the other. Consider those things to be important. Consider that one small thing to be a victory. And, in the meantime, go out and have a cocktail, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'll tell you some more about my music, perhaps on Wednesday. And thanks, J-Lo, for coming in. I didn't expect anybody to come over, really, because, again, it's Friday. Shit. But there are 3 people here with me. May the true and living God, the real one, the one that breathed the breath of life into us and made us living souls. Pay attention to your angels, your guides, and your ancestors. I will suggest, when you can, take a quiet moment and just listen. So I love you. J-Lo, it's my practice that anybody that comes on this stream, I put their names on the list and I send a prayer up for them. Yeah. So I will do that for you. You have my email address. It's Jazzy, Jazzy, JACE, one word, at gmail.com. I no longer have a Cash App. Got sued, y'all. They started taking down they just start closing people's accounts. They had to pay out several millions of dollars because of their shady practices. But I am on PayPal. I would really like to find another way, because Peter Thiel he and Musk started PayPal as a way to take over the government. Go to River. Where was that website? I should have put it in the chat. I want you to check out the young man, River Wand. Check him out, because he does a great job of talking about Thiel. It's RIVERWAND, one word, the man behind the American oligarchy, and it is enough for us to be concerned about, because he is actively working through government by supporting all of these MAGA crazy motherfuckers running for office. He is bankrolling all of that shit. And the best thing we can do is vote and defeat them and make sure they don't get in. Because I don't know about you. I've traveled abroad enough to know, and I promise you I'm going to be finished in a minute. I didn't realize this is a long goodbye. Whenever you go across the waters in other countries, it doesn't make a difference whether you are Black American or white American or whatever. In many countries, you are an American, period. So you can get, they don't make a distinction. So whatever they're going on in this country is a reflection upon all of us. If you are traveling abroad, please be vigilant. Also know that all 59 or however many African nation states, he kicked off the visa program. So if you are an African or you are planning to visit Africa and you don't have that visa stamp to get back into this country, your ass might just be over there longer than you anticipated, because he doesn't want Black immigrants coming from their, quote, shithole, end quote, countries to enter the pearly white gates of these United States of America. So be vigilant in your travels, both on this soil and abroad. And I will see y'all on Wednesday. Good night and much, much love to all of you. Yeah, take it to the streets, y'all. Ooh. Maybe I can, let me end on that. This performance by Mike McDonald. I can't do it right now. No. You just have to go and look at the doggone thing. Look at the, from the beginning. You know what I'm talking about. All right. See you later.